Oh, hot, 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 hot! Hot, 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 hot!
Hot topic.
Hello and welcome to Friday's Hot Topic with me, Jordan James, autistic photographer extraordinaire, and my best friend, Simon Scott.
News!
Woo. News! Yeah, sorry, news. News.
Friday, it's the news.
What?
Is it good news? Is it bad news?
It's fucking bad news. It's not good. It's
not
politics again. Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
You literally said in the last episode, you went, we're not going to talk about politics. This week, we're talking about politics again.
Yeah. See, this one, I put on the back burner because I was kind of fed up with talking like politics stuff and politicians saying shit things about disabled and neurodivergent people in general, you know, our community. And unfortunately, the American shit has filtered down into the sewers of the British politics. And the bottom feeder that is Nigel Farage has licked up the American poop and scoffed it all down and has gone full Donald Trump-esque and has started saying very, very stupid and incorrect. Let me be clear. Factually incorrect, which is most of the stuff that Nigel Farage comes out with.
I think the Americans call that fake news.
I think they do. He literally is the embodiment of fake news. I mean, him and his cronies took credit for that Steelworks not shutting down, and they didn't do anything, and they turned up after the event.
You're welcome.
Trespassed on the property of the Steelworks in their dumbass freaking Make Britain Great Again taxi and took credit for it. Everybody listening, if you genuinely thought that Facebook boomer post was real, it wasn't. They are fake. They are all fake.
That's populist propaganda at its finest, though, isn't it? We turn up and you go, "You're welcome," and then just leave.
It's literally what they're following the Donald Trump way of doing things. And let's be honest, the Americans were stupid enough to fall for it. And now the British public are equally, let me say equally, the ones that have fallen for it, obviously not everyone, are now voting for this fucknut, right? They're voting for this guy. They're voting for his party, the very racist party, or Reform, I think they call it. The underlining prejudiced, racist, anti-LGBTQ+, anti-immigration, anti-human, send them all back on the boats where they came from, bloody foreigners.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I literally heard those words come out of his mouth, and they have won a ridiculous, over 600-odd seats, 677 seats, and it's horrifically scary that they're actually in charge like 10 districts now. Is the next Prime Minister of the UK going to be like a knockoff version of what America's got? Because he was a TV celeb. You know, he ate a kangaroo. I ate a kangaroo's penis on TV. You know, he is a kangaroo's penis.
Look, we don't want to keep talking about politics, guys, but the politics keeps talking about us. So here we are again.
And this is why we're here, to talk about this particular thing that Nigel Farage came out with. Scotty, take it away.
Oh, I'll put my best big boy voice on. Here we go.
Your northern dulcet tone.
Yes. So, you know, we're talking about quite a few things here we don't normally agree with, but we'll see what we go. So, the National Autistic Society, the NAS, has hit, I nearly said NASA then, has hit back at comments made today by Nigel Farage, MP and leader of the Reform UK party, after he claimed that doctors are massively over-diagnosing children with special educational needs and disabilities, SEND, and mental health conditions. Speaking at a press conference, he said that mental illness problems and those with other general behavioural disabilities were overdiagnosed, and this was creating a class of victims in Britain that will struggle ever to get out of it. He added, "So many of these diagnoses for SEND before 18 for disability register after 18. So many of these have been conducted on Zoom with the family GP. He knows a lot about this, doesn't he? I think this is a massive mistake. Massive mistake for Britain. I think you're the family GP, and I've known your family for generations. To be honest, I've never had the same GP ever. And you're saying to me there's a real problem here with depression or whatever it may be. It's quite hard for me as your GP to say no, is it? Because they say no to me all the time. I don't think any of these allocations should be done by family GPs. I think they should be done independently. Grow up, go to the pub, drink a pint, and sing God Save the King.
Honestly, I can't think of anything more freaking granddad bullshit. I own my own farm, but I don't do farming.
If an animal has a mental health disease, you put a jammy dodger down and shoot it in the head when it's not looking.
It's so archaic thinking. I mean, it doesn't. The thing is, like, this doesn't shock me that he said this. This is exactly what you'd expect him to say. What shocks me is that he goes around saying stuff like this, and then people went, "That's the man we vote for." Are you fucking mental? What do you mean? And it kind of summed it up because I was watching this report by this I was watching a report by the investigative reporter on YouTube, and he was basically following around Farage and, you know, seeing him in this particular district in Bolton. And then he went and did interviews with some of the candidates who were, you know, going for mayor, like in opposition of Farage's candidate. And they were sort of handing out leaflets and stuff. And this man walked past. They went to give him a leaflet. He went, "I'm voting reform. I don't want no bloody foreigners." And I was like, my wife's a foreigner. She has a British passport. She lived here longer than she's lived in Poland, where she's from. I'm like, do you not want her? Do you not want my wife, who works as a dental nurse, who got degrees as a dental nurse in this country, who was educated, pays taxes, pays national insurance, pays for people's job seekers allowance when they're struggling to find a job. She contributes as much as every other legal immigrant, because he didn't say, "Oh, I hate illegal immigrants," which is its own problem that I'm not going to go into. And I don't mean the illegal immigrants are the problem. The people's attitude towards them is the problem. He just went foreigners, because like that's the sort of people I think are voting for reform, are people that have just got a very basic idea of something they hate. And then they go, "Oh, Nigel Farage hates that, so I hate it too." Or more to the point, people say they hate it, and then Nigel flip-flop Farage jumps on the fact that some people hate it. And that's how they do it. That's how Trump did it. Like, everything that people say they hate, he then hates.
Oh yeah, that is populist. That is populist politics. So a lot of what's happening with reform, as I understand it, is that they're going into areas that are generally quite neglected in the UK, that are traditionally part of the Red Wall. So, you know, this is Labour voters, Labour constituents, and a lot of these people are disenfranchised with Labour at the moment in the UK. There is no really right-wing opposition after the fall of the Conservatives, and reform are kind of filling this hole. You know, it's we live in a populist world at the moment, unfortunately. Politics is less about what I can do for you, and it's what do you like and how can I make it work for me. And that's essentially what is happening here. But these comments, they're just not based in fact at all. Absolutely none at all. I mean, the fact that he's talking about your family GP, I would love to hear from people who actually have a family GP these days. Because in the UK, every time I go to a GP, it's never the same person, ever. Like, my mum said to me, she was like, "What's your doctor's name?" I ain't got a bloody clue.
Doctor. My doctor's name is Doctor, and then whatever name comes after that.
I haven't got a bloody clue, but sometimes my mum...
And that's if I can see a doctor.
Yeah, but like, it's almost like this, like, old school way of thinking. You know, it's like there have been a lot of comments at the moment around sort of like, you know, we talk about like DEI hires in the US and like talking about SEND here, and it's like going, oh well, you know, if for those people that are many diagnoses for SEND before 18, for disability registration after 18, so many of these have been conducted on Zoom with the family GP. There's so much wrong. There's so much wrong in that sense.
He has no idea how it works. He just knows what he needs to say to upset people, because his whole thing is, let's rile them up. Let's create an enemy. Let's get behind that enemy. And if it's not all those billions of people turning up on boats, and by the way, what the fuck? Like, honestly, it's foreigners in general, and now it's bloody disabled people taking all our money, overdiagnosed, this was the bit that upset me the most, was it said creating a class of victims in Britain struggle ever to get out of it. Get out of what? Being a victim? I'm a victim. I'm a victim of abuse. I'm a victim of bullying at my workplace. I'm a victim of bullying at school. I'm a victim of lots of things. I'm a victim of being ostracized from society and being treated like shit. I'm a victim. That doesn't mean anything. That's just a matter of fact. It doesn't change me as a person. It doesn't make me stronger, but it also doesn't make me weaker.
Do you feel like these sorts of comments are going, well, if you're going to say you are, then you asked for it? You know, when he's like, well, you're not going to get out of it. It's like, well, if you tell yourself you're depressed, you're going to be depressed. Like, do you think that's sort of where it's going? Because for me, it kind of like the sort of language and rhetoric that comes around this is like, as a student of history, I kind of look at it and go, whenever the right rise, it's the reason as to why your life is shit is because of that person that's moved into your neighborhood. They're taking food off your plate. And, you know, the thing is like, whenever I hear the stop the boats thing, I almost think about it ironically. You know, I'm in a queue in Sainsbury's in my brain, I just go, stop the boats, like, because it's so ridiculous. But whenever I think of stop the boats, I don't think, oh, stop dinghies coming into the UK. I think stop the billionaires on the yachts that are taking all the cream off the top, which unfortunately, you know, any sort of political figure, the only way that you know, rise up is by getting funding, and you're going to get funding by people that are going to push policy. This is the kind of thing that amazes me. Like, is like, I can't, you know, the comment that you were talking about with the foreigner, that's one specific voter. That's one specific person that talked. So you know, we can't all generalize every single person that's going to vote for
I'm not
reform.
tying them all with the same brush. I'm saying that seems to be a general attitude.
Yes, but one of the things that kind of always amazes me is when people are like, Britain, we need to get Britain back to where it was. Britain was built, though Britain, as we know today, was kind of built on the Windrush generation. It was also heavily reliant on the Commonwealth during the Second World War. Like, hugely reliant on the Commonwealth in the Second World War. And, you know, the loss of British Empire was down to, you know, the deals that Churchill and Roosevelt and Stalin made in the Second World War. And people seem to go, oh, we want to get back to that Britain. We want to get back to that. A lot of these people weren't alive during that Britain. A lot of people weren't around during that time of Britain, which is kind of like baffles me when they go, oh, we need to make Britain great again, or, you know, like America great again, like these sorts of slogans of, oh, we need to get back to our roots, we need to get back to what we are. It changes by generation and generation and generation. And we're an island nation, and people are naturally in disposition tetchy of foreigners when you're an island of people. That's just kind of the nature of, but it's, you know, I do wonder, like, the seat that was won in Runcorn, is there much diversity of race in Runcorn? I don't know. I've never really been. Even though I live just over the river from it, I've never been. So I don't want to, like, generalise on specific areas. It's the comments not based in facts. It's the people over 18, disability, talk to your GP. Bollocks. That's all fake. And it's the, oh, we're getting invaded. We did a lot of invading.
I was going to say, if anyone's invading, it's kind of like if we're being invaded, that's just like getting what you deserve.
I don't know if anybody's also reading the news about Spain and Portugal and places like that. They are literally putting graffiti on hotels going, "English, go away," because they're fed up of us. Like, I remember going to Amsterdam a little while ago, and it's not that I was embarrassed to be English, because I'm not, but I see how some people, British people, behave abroad. You want to put your head in your hands. You're like, what are you doing?
Oh, the lout behaviour.
Yeah, like getting really drunk and like throwing bikes in the canals and stuff. And it's just like, what are you doing, man? And it is embarrassing. Is
that the Britain that these people want, is it?
I don't know.
Do you know what it is? It literally comes down to, and this is the whole, him saying, creating a class of victims. So that's the bit that I focus on the most. The other stuff about the GPs and stuff like that, that's just not factual. That's just an idiot talking about something that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
The man who's not been to a GP in a very long time.
Yeah, that's a man who's got private health care, by the way, who's super freaking rich and so out of touch. They talk about, what's the price of milk? Honestly, I remember watching something about, it was one of them, but they're talking about, we just drink proper milk. None of this nut milk. You just like...
None of this fucking oat lattes.
You know people are lactose intolerant.
Oat lattes making boys want to be girls.
And they have to actually have nut juice. The juice of nuts.
Oatly's got a lot to be. Well, Oatly's got a lot to be responsible for. But do you know what? Like, it's crazy.
Proper milk. It's this whole. We need to be tougher. The new generation is just weak. It's a weak generation. The up and coming, and this is from the mouths of my children, who went to university and also work or have worked with young people. There's not a lot of resilience from what my own children can see. This isn't, I'm in my 40s and, it's a, snowflake generation.
Oh, you bloody snowflakes.
Yeah, I mean, for a start, snowflakes are beautiful. They're all individual and
very pretty.
And they're very, very pretty. So I don't mind someone calling me a snowflake. I'm like, oh, thanks. They also, all together, they become snow, which is solid. So lots of snowflakes joining together becomes a solid object. Just saying, like working together. I actually think snowflake's not an insult. But the idea is that saying, snowflake, you'll melt, you're easy, you're pathetic. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you want to think about people who care more about others, who need help and aren't afraid to ask for it, who are strong by admitting their weaknesses, and you want to shit on them and badly attempt to insult them and use woke as a negative term, which doesn't even make sense because it literally means awakened to issues. And by the way, it's culturally inappropriate for white people to say the word woke, as I've discovered recently. It's not a negative word, but some people of a certain generation, it seems, likes to use it against us. And we see this in the US all the time. It's like, the regressive left, the woke. And I literally heard Farage saying about like a council that they had taken over. So this council was woke.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a very good buzzword for politicians to use because it sends.
So that's not a negative thing.
It sends a message, doesn't it?
Because he was like, they care, and he was saying like, they cared about climate change, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah. He's literally saying like that's a bad thing.
Nigel,
and I'm just like,
there's no money on a dead planet.
What is wrong with the people who are like, yeah, bloody climate change? How dare they spend our money on that?
How dare I not drive my diesel chugger?
It's like, oh my God, like, oh my God. But it literally comes down to this whole victim. It's like, people, they're weak. So he's basically saying, I got there in the end, that people who are people who struggle, people who do contribute massively, I know that because I've seen my tax bill, it's huge, right? I contribute massively, and I know that there's people who are far richer than I am, especially in IT and things like that, who I know are autistic, who earn like 3-4 times what I earn. I know they're paying the taxes. I know what they're saying because they constantly complain that most of what they pay is 40% tax and then national insurance.
Oh, my dad was joking about being a socialist the other day. He was like, I'm a socialist, I pay tax.
Yeah.
You know, that's...
we are all paying the taxes.
Yeah.
We are all contributing.
When someone asks me who I do it for, it's revenue and cost.
Yeah, that's who I work for. Jesus Christ. If I do overtime, I'm like, I'm not doing overtime for me. I'm moving overtime to pay the tax, man. Yeah. But the fact is that we are the most resilient because we are victims and yet we still manage to do things. And the fact, and for those of us who can't, that doesn't make them not worth caring for. That doesn't make them a burden. It makes them humans who struggle. I won't understand this attitude in my lifetime. I will never understand it. And especially when people bring religion into it of this, and I'm not religious, I'm an atheist. I don't really care about religion. It doesn't really bother me. I don't care. There's this attitude of like this, oh, we're a Christian nation for Christian people.
Yeah, it's what they push in their portfolios.
Yeah,
and stuff.
we're a Christian nation, Christian family nation. And you're like, oh, really? So Jesus was like, do you know what? Get back on your boat and fuck off. Yes, Jesus was just like that. Or was he, let's help everyone, let's bring everyone together, let's go to the leper colony and help them.
Help the lepers.
Let's give food for free to the hungry, the dying, the needy.
Dude, I literally saw a clip about 2-3 days ago of an American lady being interviewed, and somebody was like, if Jesus came back, you know, he was from the Middle East. She was like, Jesus came back to America, would you be happy? And she literally puts the microphone in and went, well, you know, as long as he does his documents correctly. I was just like, oh no. I was like, we've hit the true paradox here. But
Jesus is not white. I don't know why people like Jesus was in the Middle East and he was Jewish.
And doing his thing.
Like, he was a brown person. He was a person of color. Jesus was a person of color.
God forbid.
Yeah. And he was made in God's image, so God is also a person of color. And by the way, every single human on this planet originated from Africa. So,
I'd love him to do like imagine if Nigel Farage did like 23andMe. What would it? And he came back with like a third like Romanian or something. He'd just like I don't know.
Well, I just like to say that like African people are like the OG humans. Like that's what they are. They're the OG humans. Like we all started, you know, in Africa. Like, and then we spread out. We only have different color skin. We only have different color skin because the melanin. We didn't need the darker skin because we moved to colder climates.
Yeah, so it's like a deformity of it's fascinating. Into do you want me to read out who also disagrees with these comments, which kind of baffled me?
Yes. Let's talk about them.
Yes. So the National Autistic Society said his comments, Farage's comments on this particular topic, were wildly inaccurate and shows that he's completely out of touch with what autistic children and adults have to go through to get a diagnosis or any support at all. Mel Merritt, who is their head of policy and campaigns, that's the NAS, added, for the record, absolutely no one has got an autism diagnosis through the GP. This is just incorrect, wrong, fake news. Children with SEND and disabled adults, I should say, including autistic people, are not victims who are being overdiagnosed. They are people who face huge delays and long fights to get the most basic support across every aspect of their lives, including diagnosis, education, health, and social care. Spreading misinformation only perpetuates stigma and makes life harder. We're calling on all politicians to drop the political point scoring and stand up for their autistic and other disabled constituents.
I don't like the National Autistic Society. I'm not a fan. Just personal experience of friends. I'm not a fan. I actually turned them down. They wanted to make me an official speaker. And I said, no. I said, I will not speak on behalf of the National Autistic Society. That is me and my integrity. I got my integrity. But at least they're doing this. And it's the same as like when Autism Speaks came out and signed that letter that we were talking about in our RFK episode. Not a fan of Autism Speaks. I think most of the community and most of the community spaces that I know are very against Autism Speaks generally because of their past and because of their puzzle pieces. And weirdly enough, there was a National Autistic Society that started the whole puzzle piece thing with a crying child and a puzzle piece. You know, fuck us, right? But we're not here to talk about that. What we are here to talk about is the fact that at least the people with the biggest voice have actually come out and spoke against it, which is what we need. That's what we need. Because it's when you say nothing, when you could have said something, that is the worst thing you can do. Which is, I mean, I might have, rattled on about like race and prejudices, but it all comes down to it because it's all minorities. How I look at it is we're minorities, neurodivergent people. We have other minorities due to religion, due to race, due to different cultures, but we are a people. We are the neurodivergent community. We are culture. We are a people. And I do look at every attack on all minorities or any minorities as an attack on minorities in general. So that's why and also, like I said, my wife is foreign. A lot of my friends. Well,
you've got Polish heritage as well, don't you? So
my granddad was Polish. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't immigrants who fought in World War II and helped Britain by flying in the RAF like my granddad did. He was Polish, and he fought beside British officers in the RAF and saved many, many lives.
Oh, mate. We've got a lot to thank Polish Spitfire pilots, man. That's the thing that always frustrates me about this sort of like history, British Army bashing, is so much of our reliance in the Second World War, but it was us against everybody, because it was us against the Nazis at one particular point. We relied so heavily on the Commonwealth for food, for trade, for people. Polish Spitfire pilots fought in the Battle of Britain. It just kind of baffles me how this country is built on the backbone of immigration. And we are an immigrating people. We've moved all over. We're Saxons, we're Anglo-Saxons and Romans, and we're a mongrel race. And it kind of, this idea of what Britain is kind of baffles me. It baffles me because you go to London and it's like Mega City 1. It's such a multiculturally diverse capital city.
So I don't ever think of London as, there's too many foreigners.
There's too many people in general.
And that has everything to do with the fact that I don't like crowds, and that nothing to do with who those people are. I couldn't care what colour someone is, or what race someone is, or what religion someone is.
We want to get rid of all the foreigners, but tonight, should we have a curry? Should we have a Chinese? You got a laugh.
I mean, it's the fact is that we wanted to be on the topic of disabled people, but this is just one thing that he's just popped out with the twat Farage are just like, and it is an attack on us as a people, but it just goes along everything else. It's just he attacks minorities. That's what he does. He attacks us as a minority. He attacks foreign people as a minority. He will attack minorities and make us the enemy. And that's really scary. So here's us doing our bit to fight back, because we're fighting on all fronts. We're fighting against the American bullshit rhetoric coming from the Trump administration. Now we're having to fight against this. And it's scary because he might be prime minister, because Labour, let's be clear, are doing a fucking terrible job. We've been on here talking about the PIP and how they're trying to cut that. And Oh God, they're so oblivious to it as well. They just walk around thinking they're doing the best job ever. The absolute Donning-Kruger effect, it seems, coming from the freaking Labour Party. By the way, hands up, I never vote Labour. I vote Lib Dem. It's not really surprising that I vote Lib Dem, but that I've always voted Lib Dem, and I don't vote Lib Dem because I've always voted. That's who I agree with for my local council. We're just trying to stand up for our people and everyone who seems to be attacked for being a minority. So yeah, this is us doing our bit, and it's tiring, and it takes a lot of spoons. And I think I'm fresh.
Me too,
out.
my man. So that was unfortunately this week's TISM news. It's the minorities are under attack, and it's not just over in the US. So thank you so much for listening. We will be back on Thursday next week, or maybe this week, depending on when you're listening to this. So new episodes every single Thursday, and we will be right back here with more news in the hot topic every Friday.
Bye everyone.
Bye everyone. See you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Neurodivergent Experience. We hope today's episode sparked something for you, whether it's a new idea, a bit of validation, or just a moment of connection. Remember, new episodes are every week, so be sure to join us for the next one for more conversations and insights into the neurodivergent experience. If you've enjoyed this podcast, help us grow. You can do that by rating and reviewing this show. Your support makes a huge difference in helping us reach more people who could benefit from these conversations. You can connect with us on social media. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just search for the Neurodivergent Experience. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, take care of yourself. You're not alone in this journey.